If your small business received a COVID EIDL during the pandemic, today's video is for you, specifically an important update for October of 2025. Hi, I'm Trevor, the EIDL expert. Thank you for tuning in today. It's October 2025, and I have some important updates to share with you about the SBA, Small Business Administration, and the COVID EIDL program. Number one, we have, through the help of some of our clients and feedback from our clients, discovered that it is possible to get someone on the phone at the SBA to address specific concerns you may have about your COVID EIDL, especially if you're having difficulty with repayment. We have provided that advice to several recent clients, and they've used it, come back with some feedback. One person indicated they were able to get their file elevated, or as the SBA says, escalated to a supervisory level, and a very serious problem that business owner had was resolved as a result of that phone contact. Notably, that business had applied for hardship accommodation and received a verbal approval, thought he was in hardship accommodation, was making the hardship payments, only to discover later on, through no communication from the SBA or U.S. Treasury, he found out because he does government contract work, and he found out from the United States Air Force that his business was on a do not pay list because his defaulted COVID EIDL was at the United States Treasury for collection. And that led to his booking calls with us and following our guidance and getting someone on the phone. In another case, a business owner that suffered a severe illness and medical issue they're getting back on track medically, thankfully, and they are getting back on track with payments. And following advice provided on a 1-hour consulting call with me, we discussed how to bring the payments up to date. We did some basic math, which we call the Trevor method math. We did some looking at their My SBA portal to determine status. And I provided that person with this special access formula, if you will, that we've created for helping our clients get someone on the phone. In her case, she was unable to escalate it, although I suspect that was for failure of proper preparation on the call and maybe asking specific questions, because the person she spoke to at SBA said, all I can do is look at the My SBA portal, same as you, which we know from the other client is not the only option available, that it is possible, if you present yourself correctly, to have your request escalated. So it is possible to get someone on the phone at the SBA. We'd encourage you to call the number and give it a try. If you need specific guidance on that, you can either book a 1-hour consulting call with me or purchase one of our guidebooks where we have updated those to include this kind of special recipe. Next on our October update is that we are seeing now that the SBA appears to be enforcing the personal guarantee feature on defaulted COVID EIDLs. Defaulted in the sense of people who have not paid the loan, or in the case of somebody who reached out to us recently, they had discharged the COVID EIDL in a business bankruptcy. It was unclear if they had done a personal bankruptcy or not. I'm surmising they did not, because in the communication they sent to us, they indicated that they received a letter from the United States Department of Justice seeking to enforce the personal guarantee feature on their COVID EIDL. And we know there's a lot of misinformation out there, notably on that website that begins with an R that I won't mention on this video because I don't want to make myself vomit on camera. But that cesspool of misinformation and inaccurate information, we've seen the kind of advice people gave there. Yes, I actually have looked in there once in a while. It's not a happy place for me. But we know that there's a lot of misinformation. Notably, a lot of folks out there say, oh, just ignore the loan, just walk away. Or we've seen comments here in our YouTube video, people saying, well, I consulted with an attorney and they said just stop paying the loan. And we think that that is really bad advice. We think that you need to deal with this because the federal government has a long memory, and as per the terms of the loan agreement that you signed, what is called the EIDL Loan Authorization and Agreement, or the LAA, there are serious consequences for default through non-payment or even just being out of compliance. In my opinion, and it is very bad advice to just ignore this and walk away because, again, government has a long memory, as exemplified in this letter received by this business owner in Texas from the United States Department of Justice seeking to enforce the personal guarantee feature of the defaulted COVID loan for a business that failed 4 years ago, that defaulted and filed a bankruptcy 3 years ago, and here we are. As I said, the federal government has a long memory, so you don't want to fall out of compliance there. If you want to know about compliance, we have a blueprint guidebook that you can purchase at our website, and that will show you all the information that we've distilled into plain language about the terms of the loan agreement that you need to be aware of. We recently did a video called Muddy Waters because on several of the consulting calls I've done recently with small business owners, I'm discovering that there appears to be, I hesitate to say lax enforcement on repayment on the loans, but there's certainly a slowing down, if you will, and certainly a lack of clear communications from the SBA in terms of when you miss payments, fall behind on payments, or cease to make payments altogether. And we're seeing kind of very strange communications come from the SBA, if at all. And also where in 2023 and 2024, we saw that if you fell behind on payments, the SBA sent your file to U.S. Treasury as per federal guidelines after 120 days of delinquency. It does not appear to be the case right now. So I'd refer you to watch that video. But keep in mind, as of October 2025, if you're in trouble with the SBA payment, COVID EIDL payments, number one, if you have not already applied for payment assistance, we've got several free videos in our playlist that you can find and watch those to learn how to apply for payment assistance and consider doing that. That will reduce your payments by 50% for 6 months, but you're only allowed to apply for it as per the new SBA guidelines once every 5 years. So take care of how you make that decision. But if you find yourself in a kind of delinquent position, contact the SBA, send an email, do your best, but they appear to be slowing down. I'm not saying they're not going to send you to collections at U.S. Treasury. I'm not saying they're not going to attempt to collect on the debt, but I'm saying that they are not providing clear communications on what to do in that case, and secondarily, they seem to be slowing down in terms of assigning these loans to collections at U.S. Treasury. I'm Trevor, the EIDL expert. I want to thank you all for tuning in. If you found today's video helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel. More than 70% of folks who watch our channel are not subscribed. And please hit the thumbs up and like the video because that will send a message to the YouTube algorithm that this video has value and importance to you as a small business owner, and that will help encourage YouTube to share this video with more small business owners just like you who have a COVID EIDL. We offer 1-hour consultation calls. We have our blueprint guidebooks, which you can purchase with my step-by-step instructions, templates for sending emails and letters to the SBA, samples of SBA forms, and really clear advice on how to manage any of the multitude of transactions, whether it's repayment issues, changing the address of the business, ownership, and on and on and on. You can find all of those at our website. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video.